I'm the artist director who designed all 3 walls. They commissioned me to create this visual story about Harlem. I am Harlem, past, present, and future. The black and white, or the grayscale, is part of the Harlem Renaissance past. Then as you start seeing the color coming in, that's beginning to move towards the present. And this wall is specifically the present, and the future is around the corner. But elements of the present is where the color begins and the black and white ends, on that wall in the back. We were dealing with past, present, and future Harlem in terms of what the different signs and resistance was. And so we went, I was looking through the Schomburg archives at different footage having to do with the Harlem Renaissance, and the Renaissance was about resistance, blacks not being considered in their excellence and their talent, so their art was their weapon of choice. And so I went from the Harlem Renaissance to civil rights era, where you see the sign on the wall that says "I am a man," protesting, and now we have Black Lives Matter. So I'm saying, what will be the next sign in the future? Because it really is always some kind of resistance that artists, between their excellence and their social justice, have co-joining all the time. So even though you see the beauty of the color, there's a message in it. And so I put a lot of Adinkra symbols throughout that had to do with fleeing to freedom. And so those symbols were part of the Underground Railroad, and the griots knew what those symbols were, but they were basically talking about freedom. And that's really what this whole idea of gentrification is. Harlem artists and Harlem residents don't often have the freedom of a voice and existence in what their contribution is, and others come here with no contribution, not understanding the history and the dynamic of this community.
And we're fresh off of Soho versus Harlem and all of that stuff. I'm a Harlem guy. I grew up here in Harlem. So what better way to pay tribute than to have this on the wall? And the gospel is to meet the people's needs. And I think this speaks to that. So when people come by, there's hope, there's conversation, and people are stopping here and having dialogue that would not have otherwise stopped. I'm talking to you.
My great-grandfather and my great-grandmother were slaves. So when I look at this mural, I think of them. And I appreciate it because it shows the struggle. If you look at all of the mural, it shows the struggle that we came from, that we're going through, that we've been through. And now we have a chance to make it right.